So now that we have a general idea of what gross beat does, as well as having a brief look at the interface, it is now time to dive in to working with the effect. Gross beat works by allowing you to alter the timing, that we know. The basis of the plugin is to hold the alterations made in the editor as a bank or slot in the timetable, allowing you to switch between different alterations on the fly. The default patch loaded with the effect will have the first slot labeled empty. This slot has had no time alterations applied to it, thus no changes to the audio. However, the remaining slots will have some pre-programmed time alterations applied, as well as having their slots labeled. If I am to click on some of these slots, you can see and hear their effect on the audio. We will look at editing and creating your own time alterations later on, but for now, we are going to look at how to manage the slots. So, as you saw, selecting a slot will make it the active slot that will affect the audio, as well as load that slot's time alteration pattern into the editor. Of course, it would be a lot easier when editing or when selecting a slot if you could give each slot a custom name. There are two ways to rename a slot. The first is to right-click on the slot and from the drop-down menu select Edit Slot Name. A small text box will appear that allows you to type in your desired name. The second way is to click on the slot name from the bottom of the interface. Clicking on the name will bring up the same small text input box where you can type in your new name. Now, as you can see, there are two banks of slots. The top bank with the green highlights are the banks that store time alteration patterns, as discussed already. The bottom bank holds slots of volume alteration patterns. Selecting and renaming a slot from the volume bank works in the same manner as we just looked at with the time slots. You may also notice that if the editor is showing a time alteration pattern, selecting a volume slot, the editor will automatically switch to view the volume pattern in the selected slot. Often you may want to link a time alteration slot to a volume alteration slot. If so, then you can click on the Link Volume slot when editing a time slot. The time slot number that is being edited will automatically be linked to the same slot number in the volume bank. This will only link the slots that have the same number. So, for example, if I link slot 3 of the time bank, then slot 3 of the volume bank will be linked to it. You will notice that after linking a slot to a volume slot, that whenever I select the slot from the time bank, the corresponding slot from the volume bank is also selected, making it easier to see and edit both slots. Each slot from both the time and volume banks are linked to a MIDI control note message, making it possible to use your MIDI controller to select a time and or volume bank on the fly. As you can select a time bank from one key of your MIDI controller, it would be a good idea to link any volume patterns that you wish to apply to a particular time slot, allowing you to select both slots from one MIDI note. Each of the time and volume banks can have their output mixed with the original audio using the mix level control. The same can be done for the volume slots as well. So, in this video, we took a look at working with and managing the slots in both the time and volume banks, as well as adjusting their levels in the output. In the next video, we are going to look at working with the slots in a performance mode.